There was a lot of questions in the offseason, but now they know their identity. And an Alabama team that knows their identity is a scary, a scary ball team. Would somebody care to explain to me what in the HE double hockey sticks is going on in my comment section? Please, somebody explain to me what's going on. What even is this? Love the channel, Matt. Let's start a hashtag Matt be bald chain. It's madness. You got people writing regular comments, and at the end of it, for no reason, no right around reason, it's not even trying to be ironic, people putting hashtag Matt be bald. We're not doing this, man. We're not. We're done with the Matt be bald. It's over. Hold on. What is this? Hashtag shiny head Matt? Nah, bro. Nah, y'all taking it a little too far. Thanks for all the incredible videos this week. Hashtag Matt be bald. Hashtag Matt is bald. Hashtag Matt shall stay bald. Heck no, man. Heck no. Another one. Another Matt be bald video. How lucky are we? Thanks, Matt. How are you going to say thanks, Matt, but in the same comment, you disrespected me? And here's the one I find the most ironic. Somebody said, hello, Matt be bald, and then continue to write a comment talking about Oklahoma. Yet again, you didn't even have to throw Matt be bald in there. You could have just wrote the original comment, but you had the balls at the beginning of it to put, hello, Matt be bald, like I'm one of your buddies or something. That's like going up to somebody in public and saying, hey, man, you're ugly, but anyways, what'd you think about the game Saturday? I don't know what's going on in the comment section, but like we say on the channel, it is what it is. Anyways, though, outside of that and moving along with the main topic of this video, we're here to talk about the Alabama quarterback situation. More importantly, Jalen Milroe. It's been quiet, almost too quiet around that Tuscaloosa area. Most of y'all know I'm from northern Alabama. It's where I stay and reside, and yeah, hasn't been too much stuff going on. None of my sources have told me any information, and it goes back to this. My granddad always told me, sometimes in life, no news is good news, and that's the case and scenario here. I don't want to give you the whole long backstory because we all know how it goes. Tyler Buchner, Ty Simpson, and Jalen Milroe, they were battling it out in the offseason for the starting quarterback spot. And the main reason there was even a quarterback battle to begin with is because Jalen Milroe, he struggled last year as a backup quarterback, and even in the spring game, he had some struggles. But the one thing about Jalen Milroe that has always gave him the upper hand in this quarterback battle is he is an athletic specimen. I think the greatest comparison I can give you for a quarterback is he is built like Cam Newton. But here's the thing with Jalen Milroe. I think he's even more athletic and he's faster, more explosive than Cam Newton. I know that's some bold words, but watch Jalen Milroe play. He's much quicker. And that's why I firmly believe if quarterback doesn't work out, that wouldn't be the end of his football career. He could play tight end or running back. I know some of y'all probably, or most of y'all didn't watch Alabama play MTSU, and I don't blame you. It was a doozy. It was a blowout from start to finish, and most people anticipated seeing 3 quarterbacks in this game. And a lot of people heading to this game, just like myself, wanted to see how good the quarterbacks were going to play. Well, here's the thing. In this game, only one quarterback played, really, and that was Jalen Milroe. The backup quarterback in this game, which shocked a lot of people, by the way, was Tyler Buchner. He came in after Milroe. He only threw 5 passes. He played pretty good, and then Ty Simpson was 1 for 1. So for most of the game, Jalen Milroe, he was the guy. He got all the reps. And you can't blame Saban for this because he played about as good as it gets. Finished 13 for 18, had a $194 through the air with 2 really good passes, had 3 touchdowns, had a total QBR of 94.4, but oh yeah, can't forget to mention, throw this in there, on the ground, he was a leading rusher. 7 carries for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. Had 5 total tutties. We'll get into this in just a second. What's scary about Jalen Milroe and why I think it makes Alabama really, really scary for Texas is you can't just look at him as a quarterback. You got to look at him as a dual threat quarterback. And I thought about this before I sat down to record this video. Alabama hasn't had a real deal dual threat quarterback in a while. Last year, was Bryce Young a dual threat quarterback? No. Could he run? Yes. Was he capable of running? Yes. But I wouldn't label him as a dual threat. The year before that, who did we have? Tua Tagovailoa. He wasn't a dual threat. The real deal last dual threat quarterback Alabama had was Jalen Hurts. And what made Jalen Hurts so good? You didn't just have to account for his passing abilities. You had to account for him on the ground as well. And what did I say back then and what did everybody say about Jalen Hurts? Man, if he could just learn how to pass the ball a little bit better, this dude would be unreal. And as much as I love Jalen Hurts, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this dude couldn't throw a football at Alabama. He couldn't. A lot of people look back on it since now he's got that new $250 million deal in the NFL and Tua's not doing so good. Everybody's like, oh, why did Jalen Hurts get benched for Tua? Well, I'm going to remind you that back then in Alabama, Tua was the better quarterback. And to be honest, it wasn't even close. Tua was far ahead of Jalen Hurts, at least in the passing game. But however, what happened, and this is why I admire and respect Jalen Hurts so much, and he's a great role model, he kept working. Hard work is a lost art form in today's society. If people aren't talented or immediately good at something, they give up. Jalen Hurts didn't do that. He worked. He didn't quit on the team. He stayed. He put his pride and ego aside. He was the backup quarterback for Tua and just continue to work hard. And that's another thing why I admire Jalen Hurts so much. Do you know what that does to a man's ego and pride? If you're a man and you say you don't have an ego and you have zero pride, well, I don't know what to tell you besides you're a straight up loser. Every man out there has an ego. And Jalen Hurts was man enough to say, you know what? Tua's better quarterback. He beat me out for the job. I'm not going to leave my team. I'm going to stay here. And it's funny how things play out, right? Because guess what happened later in that year? Tua got hurt in the SEC championship, and who came in and saved the day? Jalen Hurts. And the rest is history. He transfers to Oklahoma, and at Oklahoma, that's when I personally felt like he was a really good passer. I was like, yep, Jalen Hurts, he took the next leap, he took the next step, and this dude can throw the ball. And if you've been watching him in the NFL, yeah, he's great, and we'll leave it at that. I do apologize for going off on a little Jalen Hurts tangent there, but my point is that was the last dual threat quarterback Alabama's had. And I think a lot of Alabama fans, they've been missing the whole point with all of this. Because most fans out there in the offseason, I remember they even stated it, and I even stated it, I think Ty Simpson might be the better option. But one thing even I myself forgot to realize and bring up is that what made Jalen Milroe the backup quarterback last year is his dual threat ability. What makes Jalen Milroe so good is also his feet. And this shouldn't be hard to believe, but preparing for a quarterback like Jalen Milroe is much harder to prepare for than a guy like Ty Simpson or Mac Jones or even Bryce Young. Because with Mac Jones, Bryce Young, and Tua talking about, you know they're just going to throw the ball. But with Jalen Milroe, then you guys start talking about, okay, maybe we need to put a quarterback spy out there all throughout the game. And then it's like, well, okay, he probably will be faster than the quarterback spy. What do we do after that? There's just so much more to it because you got to prepare for his running and passing. Whereas with most of our quarterbacks, you don't got to do that. And here's the scary part about this. I know everybody's going to say, Matt, it was MTSU. Who cares? It's a crappy team, blah, 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 blah. But I don't care about any of that. What I care about is in this game, Jalen Milroe, he wasn't throwing 5-yard bubble screens. He had a couple of long passes where I was like, okay, yeah, if he can do this against Texas and against the teams all on the schedule all throughout the season, he's going to be dangerous. The thing with Jalen Milroe is, and I want all of you to understand this, we don't need him to go out there and be as accurate as Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, or Bryce Young. We just need him to be slightly accurate because if he can be slightly accurate and keep the defense honest, he'll do a lot of work on the ground as well. Because what he lacks in arm talent, he makes up for it with his legs. And that's not getting enough recognition. Jalen Milroe will be a lethal weapon on the ground against Texas as well, not just through the air. Me personally, if I was a Texas fan, I would be extremely worried heading into this game. That's just me. As an Alabama fan, not worried a single bit. I wish I could sit up here and say, guys, I'm worried. You know, they got Quinn Ewers. I'm not. I'm just not worried. Now, don't get too far ahead of ourselves. We're not doing the preview. Come back Thursday. That's when we do the preview for all the games. But I will tell you and let this be known, and I even said it in the offseason on the channel, not worried. I'm not. And I tell you this much, after watching Texas on Saturday and watching Bama and Jalen Milroe on Saturday, my confidence went up 2 times higher than what it already was. I tried telling people this in the offseason. They laugh when I say this, but I'm not kidding. You can put a penguin back there. You can put me back there as a starting quarterback for Alabama, and we're going 10-2. It doesn't matter. The only thing that's going to separate Alabama from going 10-2 and 12-0 is great and elite quarterback play. And here's what I really want everybody to understand. Jalen Milroe has completely changed everything for this Alabama offense and football team. I took notice of this in the MTSU game. He looked 10 times more comfortable in that first game against MTSU than he did all throughout the season last year. And I'm glad to see it. I hope his confidences went up, and I'm hoping after the game it went up even more. His footwork's improved, his throwing's improved, everything's improved. Now, that doesn't mean he won't go in here against Texas and throw 3 interceptions and fumble a couple times, because that could happen. But what I'm saying is he looked good against MTSU. And yet again, going back to this, I already know what all these Texas fans are about to run to a comment section and say, well, Matt, it's MTSU, they suck. Okay, on the counterpart, Texas played Rice on Saturday and they struggled with them to a certain extent. I watched that game, and Quinn Ewers, didn't look that good. He looked okay, but didn't impress me. Jalen Milroe, he impressed me on Saturday, and that's the difference. He has completely changed everything for this Alabama offense. There was a lot of questions in the offseason, but now they know their identity. And an Alabama team that knows their identity is a scary ball team. I'll be the first to tell you, last year and the year before, it didn't seem like we knew who we were. It seemed like at times we thought we was a California offense where we were going to score 60 points and our defense just had to play mediocre at best. But this year, it seems like the notion around Tuscaloosa, Alabama is, hey, we need our defense to be great and elite again. We're tired of scoring 60 points a game. We're tired of relying on the offense. We want our offense to feel like they only got to score 28 points and we can still win. And even last year with Bryce Young back there and Jahmyr Gibbs, two of the best players in the country, it seemed like we didn't know what we wanted to do at times. Maybe you want to blame Bill O'Brien for that. I don't know who you'd blame. It seemed like a lot of times last year we knew we could run all over teams, but we didn't do it. Because Bill O'Brien got too Bryce happy, and even Saban said this, hey, we got Bryce happy and we passed the ball way too much. But I am going to defend Bill O'Brien on this because, heck, you got the best player in the country, the #1 overall pick in the draft. Why wouldn't you pass the ball a lot? You see what I'm saying? But on the counterpart, this year, we know we don't have a Bryce Young. We know we don't have the best quarterback in the country, so we're leaning more on the defense in the run game, and I like it. Because more times than not, these are the Alabama teams that tend to win championships. You don't have the best quarterback you've ever had, but you got a good one back there. I am curious, I'm going to pull it up. How many pass plays did Alabama have and how many run plays? Against MTSU, we had 40 rushing attempts, and we only had 24 pass plays. That's what I like to see. And I also believe a main reason for that is because of Jalen Milroe. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. I don't want to see Jalen Milroe going back there throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. It's not that I don't think he's capable of it, but that's not the offense I want to see out of Alabama. I want to see Jalen Milroe throw the ball 20 to 30 times a game, and I want to see us run the ball probably about either 30 to 45 times a game. I don't think there's any more question marks. Jalen Milroe, he's the guy, and this offense this year has changed for the better. I'll put it this way. I'd be more than shocked if we passed the ball more than we ran the ball against Texas Saturday. I would be shocked, but you never know what's going to happen. Let me know your thoughts down below. But Roman